whatever we avoid, whatever you're avoiding when it comes to building the life you want, going after the thing you want, the change you want, whatever you're avoiding is costing you the most. And not just in terms of you're not doing the thing, you're not living the life you want, but also in terms of time, of energy, and opportunities, and how you experience life in the process. And I think it's not about, yes, of course, fear creates the obstacle, and most of the times it's just fear as false evidence appearing real. But I think we need to give fear, we're giving it too much attention. We need to give fear less attention. There's another way of actually going after the thing you want. It's by making the thing you want emotionally bigger than the fear, way bigger. So the calling, what's calling you, because there is something calling you if you're here, if you're watching, needs to get louder than the fear. So you cannot ignore it, so that avoiding the fear becomes more expensive, more uncomfortable than facing it. That's a smart way to approach it. That's actually probably unconventional. Probably most people are not gonna willingly do that. But let me tell you, that's how I took my leap. That's how I left. I left. I feel like I freed myself from corporate and went all in into building my own thing. And yes, COVID and being laid off earlier than I planned to quit accelerated things, but I already had it in my plans. We were already negotiating less working hours, me stepping back from my role and just delegating more and just working remotely and everything like that. I would have preferred a much gentler way out, but with COVID, things just accelerated. But I'm grateful to that. And here's what I kept repeating myself. The moment I realized what I wanted to do, here's what I realized. This job here, right here, is comfortable. I had very little to complain, almost nothing to complain. It was kind of a dream situation because I was working 4 days a week. I had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, and often went on a trip. Was working in China, in Shanghai at the time, so I could, before a 4-hour flight, I could go to Thailand for the weekend and just explore all the beautiful, gorgeous places that are around China and just in Southeast Asia. And I got to travel to most places and enjoy 10 years of travels there. And I miss that so much. And that's why I say this journey on YouTube and how I'm restructuring my business online, this is just a side digression, it's going to fund my my own and my partner and my own move abroad. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know this is how it's going to happen. Our move back abroad and to what felt like home, which is Asia. But digression aside, I knew that I had very little to complain, and yet what, and also financially, it was also a dream. I didn't have many responsibilities. I had a team I really enjoyed. It was a very creatively inspiring environment. There wasn't much to complain about. And still, it wasn't like one of those horrific corporate stories that you hear about. But yeah, and yet the very experience was conflicting with my biggest value, core value, which is freedom, time freedom, the ability to, even if everything was very reasonable and better working conditions and better contract than most people I knew, still I had very few days per week, per year of PTO, of paid leave of vacation, and I needed to squeeze my travels, my vacation around what worked for the company. And I had to communicate it always in advance. And there was always, of course, they were no happy about it. It sounds little, but to me, the capacity, ability to manage and plan my own time, whether I'm choosing to stay home and just enjoy staying home or traveling or whatever I want to do with my time is a luxury. Is something that for me is worth finding another way to make a living. That alone to me was enough. And also it got to a point where even creatively and in terms of growth, it wasn't feeling as aligned anymore. It wasn't a job I hated. It was congruent with creativity. I was working in creative direction, so it was still exciting, but it wasn't my thing. It wasn't my calling. And what I kept telling myself was the longer I stay, the harder it will be to leave because this is really comfortable. I could coast and keep doing this for until retirement and lead a pretty great life. Even though, let me add to that, a good life, but not the life I know I'm here for. So there will always be that feeling of something's missing, that feeling of I could have chosen different. I could have chosen what really lights me up. I could have chosen for myself. And thank God, thank God that I was aware of that. I was aware that, hey, I need to leave before this gets too comfortable. And that feeling, it wasn't the first time I experienced that in my life. It comes with me. It's something I carry. I don't know if and it's very useful when it comes to growth. Sometimes you're like, no, not now. I'm kind of enjoying this. But it's just an inner push. I don't know. It's built in, you guys. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes I hate it, but sometimes, and most of all, in hindsight, I'm always grateful for it. So there was that little voice saying, you can't wait any longer. This will get it keeps getting comfortable until it becomes a trap. I was aware that I'm really aware that anything that becomes too comfortable eventually becomes your prison, becomes your trap. And see how I have that built-in fire alarm, like alarm system, internal alarm, because my core value is freedom. So even if something is comfortable, my system knows that the moment it gets too comfortable for us, it's a trap, and we can't allow that. I don't support that. I'm not here for that. So the moment it gets too comfy, we're gonna plan our exit. We're gonna have our exit plan laid out, and we're ready to go. We're preparing to go, and it's interesting, but that's what I recommend, to be honest, because the moment you can't erase fear to take the leap, fear to build your own business, fear to leave the safe, stable, secure career to do something you don't know where it's going to lead you, fear to move abroad, fear to leave the relationship you have grown, the life you have grown, the job you have grown, the friendships you have grown, the life, already said that, the chapter, the season you're in that doesn't fit anymore. It feels too small. Fear is always going to be there. And you know this. You know it. Fear will always be there. But can you make your why, your calling, your desire, your values bigger, Emotionally, why do I say emotionally bigger than a fear? Because you need to feel it in your body. You need to feel that why. And the stronger you can feel it, the harder it will be to ignore it. Use your body as a compass. Use your body as the metric, as your guide, literally. Because your body will help you. The moment you can tap into that great why, your heart, why do you want to do the thing you want to do? Why do you want to live the life that you dream about, you journal about, you create Pinterest boards about? Why do you want to build the business? Why do you feel it's time to stop hiding your work as an artist, as a creative? To stop hiding, to stop shrinking, to stop diluting your voice? Why? Connect to that. Activate that feeling into your body and make it bigger than the fear. Make it impossible, inevitable to ignore, to the point that decisions will be simpler, not easier, but simpler, because you can't. You can't keep going like that. You can't live like that. You don't want that. Don't like where that's leading to. So the moment you can make your why, your calling louder, bigger, stronger than whatever fear is telling you, you're winning. You have a recipe for growth, because that's going to be your lighthouse. That's how, literally, in a nutshell, how I function. How I realized it took me 40 years to realize I was built this way. And to do my best to support the way I'm naturally. And I think most of us are built this way. Most of us, all of us who are purpose driven, if you have a calling, if you have a mission, you have this built in. I think honestly, we all do. Some people haven't tapped yet into that, what that thing is. And even what you want your life to look like. And I hope you get to discover, you get to find out. I hope you give yourself space to find out, because we have one life. It's a very brief chapter. We have this shot. If you believe we have many more lifetimes, you've lived past lives like I do, sure. But this journey, this one over here, how do you want to live it? What do you want to create? What kind of footprint, what kind of legacy you want to leave behind? I want to leave the world in a better place than I found it, in my tiny ways that I can contribute. I know I'm here to, you guys, I don't know how it's going to look like, how it's going to be possible, but I want to contribute to help our earth, the ocean, preserve ocean conservation, preserve the forests, protect the forest, protect the trees, protect the ocean, protect the land, protect the wisdom of our ancestors, protect animals, protect the animal species that we're losing. And I know, in this moment, I can tell you, I have goosebumps you can't see. I'm getting teary. I can feel it in my heart. I feel it. It's like my body, every cell, when I tap into that, every cell of my being just lights up. It's responding to the call I'm naming. It's responding to what I'm speaking to what I'm speaking to out loud. Because I tapped into the thing I want to be part of, into the ways I want to make our reality, our shared collective experience, better, greater, more enjoyable for everyone, for every creature we share this planet with. And when you tap into that, it's gonna feel, let me tell you, ignoring the call is gonna feel more painful than letting fear rule your life. And that will make it simpler to choose the scary thing. Because you staying in the same place that you know isn't your place, it's going to be more painful, more frustrating. Once you activate that call, you pick up the phone, it's yours. You have a recipe for growth, and you got to trust that. You got to trust that. Let's end it there. There's so much to say about this, but let's end it there for today. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, like, subscribed, follow along for the journey. There are resources in the link in the description box below to work together. If you want to explore taking the leap, if you're navigating, if you feel like you've grown where you are, if you want support in making that why bigger than the fear, and you're ready to take the leap and ready to make that change, God, I would be so honored to support you. And I'm so honored that you're here, you're watching this. So grateful. And if you don't know, my name is Marina, and I make videos every day to remind you that your calling, the life that's calling you, it's just one leap of courage away. I'll see you tomorrow.